for a minute. But so looking at my channel, I saw the last kind of story time off a little bit, whatever, was a work time. I was telling you about my first job. So we're going to head in that direction for a little while. I was thinking about when I was waitressing, and ironically, this occurred after I had come back. Like, this was a few months after the pool party, story time. And this was when I had come back to stand at my mom's, and I was waitressing. I was waitressing at a job. I was a waitress. And there was a guy that worked there who was originally from like Philly or whatever. And he was the freaking bus boy, right? That matters. He was the bus boy. And but he had spent like 9, 13, whatever years in prison, working out, training, getting buff. He was on like probation or whatever, and they had helped him get the job. This because he had moved down here, spent some years down here, got locked up down here, got out, was on probation, and they had helped him get the job, as the busboy there. This nigga was crazy. Y'all hear me? He was crazy because, all right, I rarely even talked to him that much anyway. But so I'm at work one day, and like I said, I'm waitressing. I'm in the front, and the restaurant was like 3 parts. It had the front part where everybody sat down. Then it had the little middle section, which was, where the cooks, busboy, all of that was. Then it had the back section, which was where people could go and get the food for takeout. So, and it had like 2 doors in the back, 2 doors in the front, maybe one in the kitchen. But so, all right, I had been up in the front. This was like an hour and a half before we freaking closed, okay? This was not right at close. We had like an hour and a half to go. I had a few tables, but most of my tables were gone, right? I had like 3, possibly 4 tables left. One table basically just sitting there, already gotten all of their stuff cleared. Another table had like, the other 2 tables like basically had just got their food or whatever. So, I'm chilling or whatever. But so I go and I'm talking to the other waitresses and we're just laughing or what have you. And I go and I take back like a plate and a saucer with a fork. It was like very little bit of dishes, which this was the busboy. Let's remember that point. Good morning, y'all. Let's remember that this was the freaking busboy. I take just a very minimum amount back there. I didn't really pay attention because, like I said, I had been up front laughing with the waitresses. I just come back and I just sit the stuff down, on the little where you sit the dirty dishes, and get ready to turn. Well, actually, I did. I turned and I took 2 steps, forward to go back into the other area with the waitresses. And all I hear, I'm like, well, everybody, the whole restaurant heard we were, bitch. Excuse me, y'all. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? I stopped. I turn around, take them 2 steps back, and I look. He's looking at me. He's like, bitch, I'll beat your ass. And excuse me, y'all. I'm like, is he talking to me? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, who, me? And he goes in. You hear me? This crazy convict goes in. He's like, yeah, you ever just flip me out, bitch ass, and all this other stuff like that. And I'm like, what is he talking about? You know what I mean? In my head, of course, I'm like, what in the world is going on? Twilight Zone. I was just laughing, beat my ass, like, what is Twilight Zone? But of course, since he's standing there talking smack to me, I start talking smack back, like, who the fuck you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So now by this time, because when he yelled, bitch, so loud that the whole restaurant had heard it, the managers up front had heard it as well. So they had come back there running to the back to see what was going on. Same thing I was trying to figure out, like, what in the hell is going on? And so this big Grape Ape, I'm telling you, like, he been locked up for like 9 or 13 years, working out the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Big, tall, muscle bound, Grape Ape. And here I am, like 5'3". I think at that point in time I was like 135. And you trying to fight me because I bought you some dishes and you're the busboy. Y'all, so I now, like I said, by this time the managers had come back and they're standing in between the two of us, but it's not like I'm trying to fight this nigga. I'm just standing there, you know what I'm saying, and have been talking a little bit of noise back. And Grape Ape tried to attack me. So, but the manager ends up taking his side, okay? He's like, I shouldn't have been back there. And what was I doing back there? I'm like, I just bust my table, well, not bust the table because the table had already been bust. But you know how it might be somebody stood there eating a dessert or whatever like that. Like whatever was stood, I went and got the rest of it, whatever. I think that was from the table where the people were still sitting. And I went, you know what I'm saying, I was taking it last little bit back. I'm like, because I was clearing my table. You know what I'm saying? All I did was bring the dishes back. Oh, what it was? Okay, why did he snap? Because he had just put a load, like all of the dishes were clean, like he had just washed them all up or whatever. But like I said, this was not the end of the night. We still had an hour and a half to go. There were still other tables out there. You could have just let that sit for the other one or simply washed it by hand. You're the bus boy. This is your job. But so the manager had got upset and with me, and it's like I shouldn't have been back there. I shouldn't have been back there. I just busted my table. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing my dirty dishes back here to get washed. I'm just doing my job. Anyway, so me and I have to have a few words. At this point, because he's like, well, just because I'm like, well, what I'm supposed to do? Just let my table stay dirty? And so he's like, no, let somebody else, whoever else, clear the tables. He just didn't want Grape Ape to beat that ass. You know what I'm saying? The Grape Ape will already turn to the max with me for doing my job. I didn't say nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? But all I did was sit the stuff back down and turn around and walk because me and the waitresses were laughing. So I was getting back to the laughter. You know, y'all know me. I'm getting back to the laughter. And Grape Ape tried to fight me. So I ended up, because the manager had pissed me off, I ended up going into, like going out the back door to smoke a cigarette for a while because I had, my tables weren't, you know what I'm saying? They were still eating. And so I step out there. Y'all tell me why the Grape Ape bring, he's pushing the big trash can thing out there to the back and try to fight me again. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? I didn't fight that big ass nigga. I mean, like, if he had a, you know what I'm saying, I would have had no choice. Of course, you do what you have to do and have no choice. But like, as far as like stuff, which one? Hell no. Y'all crazy. He was big, been working out. At that point, I hadn't trained in no kind of like, and oh, well, so is your mom. Dude, I remember. Why are y'all? You know what? We're gonna have a conversation about how to hold a conversation because many of you do not know how to hold a conversation. I've noticed that, from other chats. Of course, I don't get that much many comments in my. But you know what? Sometimes you just can't really blame people for what they don't have. So after we get into how to hold a conversation, if y'all still act like you only know how to say dumb shit, then we're gonna get a little different. But first and foremost, in order to hold a conversation, you must greet someone. You say good morning, okay? And then after the salutations, when you are not in someone's life and you don't know that much about them, there's only so much that you can say. So you do want to start with the small talk, okay? Like, the weather, something like that, you know what I mean? But we'll work on that because I understand that people are very ignorant, not a little bit ignorant these days. I mean, very ignorant. So we'll start with that. We'll start by teaching you all how to talk to people. Okay? Now, that was unnecessary, but I couldn't help it. I got to sit this down with this tissue before I have to the game. Anyway, so we'll get up, you guys. I love you. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good. Wait, you woke up here?
Yeah.
You should have called me. I've been here all day.
Oh, no. I'm fine. I'm just ride today. Oh, my gosh, my nose.